Good evening there, everybody. What is happening? Hopefully, y'all are having a wonderful day today. So, when it comes down to it, I thought, of course, that I'd review this little video that I found to be very particularly interesting. And once again, for those of you, of course, that have been waiting for more videos from me, I do apologize for not posting as much. More videos are going to be coming on the way. Once again, I'm working on some new possible projects as well as some new style type of videos. So once again, keep on the lookout for those, but I do apologize for being a little bit busier and not releasing as much as of lately. But I wanted to review this video and talk about this news because, of course, Devin the Dream Haney, a fighter that, of course, was on my former top 10 pound for pound list. Of course, in the first fight of this year, he ended up facing that of King Ryan Garcia. And, of course, before the PEDs were caught in that Ryan Garcia system, it of course was counted, I believe, as a unanimous or majority decision win for that of a Ryan Garcia, which I pretty much agreed with. But of course, Devin Haney, it was a little bit undecided about what he was going to do, especially ever since he took the loss against Ryan Garcia, which of course now has been turned around, I believe, to a no contest because of course Ryan Garcia was caught with PEDs within his system. But the question is now about Mr. Devin Haney is that where is he at this point in time in his career? How will he return? And on top of that, who is he going to return against? Well, apparently, Devin Haney, who's always at least shown me that he's been willing to take on big fights, he pretty much has lived up to his name of taking on big fights by potentially facing that of the Australian champion at 140 pounds right now, Mr. Liam Paro. And just in my personal view, if you're asking me, I'm not 100% sure if Devin Haney is going to come out of this fight as the victor. Now, there's certain things that, in my view, that Devin Haney may have a little bit of an advantage on in terms of that of a Liam Paro. But there's also certain things, in my view, that Liam Paro does better than that of a Devin Haney. And in all honesty, if you're asking me who do I think is fundamentally more sound of the two fighters, at least in certain categories, just off of what I've seen of them, I would have to go with that of Liam Paro. I think overall that he's a little bit better defensively out of the two of them. I think that he can fight great within a multitude of ways. But that being stated, Devin Haney is still a great fighter. I just think that overall that in terms of his skill set, it's a little bit overrated compared to some of these channels. And I think that that's why he ended up getting beat by that Ryan Garcia within their fight, which of course once again was changed to a no contest. But at the end of the day, this is just my personal view. I still count that fight as a loss, but it is what it is. Now, of course, a lot of people will say, well, why do you count that as a loss? Because Devin Haney, of course, his opponent with Ryan Garcia, he was caught on PEDs, and that's absolutely true. But that being stated, if you know my opinion on the situation, anyone that is with the snack program, in my personal view, they're already on PEDs anyway. It is what it is. Every single one of those guys, Crawford, Haney, Caleb Plant, whoever the hell else is with them, anyone that is with the snack program is on some sort of performance enhancing drugs. It is what it is. But anyways, we're going to see where Devin Haney goes. Mr. AKHi TV is going to talk about it. Let's tune in because this is going to be a hellified fight in my personal view. This is going to be a fight that could potentially go either way, and I would not be surprised whatsoever if Liam Paro ended up actually winning this fight. So we'll see. But anyways, let's see what Mr. AKHi TV has to say. Let's get into it.
Breaking news. According to Boxing Scene, Devin Haney is making his highly anticipated return against William Paro on December 7th in Australia. Eddie Hearn is targeting a fight between the IBF champion William Paro and Devin Haney on December 7th in Australia, is the news that got reported by Boxing Scene today. In addition to that, Boxing Scene, they asked the million-dollar question, how will Devin Haney perform after he got cheated by Ryan Garcia, even though they said after he lost to Ryan Garcia? But it can't be a loss if Devin Haney is still undefeated. And it's not a win.
Well, he's undefeated, but once again, when you personally ask me, and I'm not a person that usually goes by these standards, but when you ask me, it pretty much is a win for that of a Ryan Garcia. And I know that once again, a lot of people are going to take a look at me and say, why would you say that? Because Ryan Garcia was caught on performance-enhancing drugs. Once again, if you know my personal opinion about the snack program, all those guys are on performance-enhancing drugs. Every single one of them. They work with Victor Conti, who was a supplier, once again, of PEDs to some of the world's top athletes. There's no way in hell that you can sit here and tell me that Victor Conti, overall, once again, is still not in some way, in some sort of fashion, still delivering some sort of performance-enhancing drugs. Get the hell out of here.
For Ryan Garcia, because he cheated. So let's get that clear. Ryan already pleaded guilty to cheating. So this is not up for debate. What Boxing Scene should have asked was, how will Devin
But that being stated, let me also state this. Does that mean that I believe that the win still should have been a quote-unquote win for Ryan Garcia? No, not necessarily, because at the end of the day, if we're going to go by the rules, even with certain guys that I do believe that were formerly on performance-enhancing drugs, for example, like Manny Pacquiao, I believe that he was on performance-enhancing drugs throughout his career. But if a fighter, of course, ended up getting caught with performance-enhancing drugs against him, then at the end of the day, if Pacquiao is not caught, with performance-enhancing drugs in his system, whether he found a way to slip around it or not, at the end of the day, the rules have to be the rules. So it did have to be changed to a no contest. That was the fairness of it. That is the way that it has to be, because that is the standards for everybody else. But at the end of the day, in my personal view, do I see it as that much of an unfair fight? No, not really, once again, because I believe that Devin Haney's on PEDs. But it is what it is.
Haney performed after he got cheated by Ryan Garcia? Only time will tell, and that time is coming soon. For Devin Haney to fight Liam Paro after getting cheated by Ryan Garcia says a lot about Devin Haney. I mean, this is a tough task.
I do agree with that, and let me give Devin Haney a lot of credit. He's one of the few boxers out there that pretty much has been willing to take on almost any single challenge out there that has been thrown his way. He's one of the few that has really tried to get in the ring with Teofimo Lopez, who's tried to get in the ring with Vasily Lomachenko, who's tried to get in the ring with that of a Regis Prograis, who's tried to get in the ring with that of a, what's his name, Gervonta Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia, all those guys. Devin Haney pretty much has fought everybody out there, or he's tried to. I give Devin Haney a hell of a lot of credit. Do I think that, once again, that his skill set is a little bit overrated than what some people try to make it out to be? Yeah, personally I do, but he's still a very good fighter. And at the end of the day, we'll see how he ends up recovering. That being stated, this is going to be a very dangerous fight for that of Devin Haney. This is going to be a very dangerous fight, because Liam Paro, there's going to be certain things that Devin Haney has the advantage in, like that of a foot speed and a hand speed. But in terms of technique, Liam Paro, I think, is going to give Devin Haney quite a handful. But we'll see. In my personal view, Liam Paro, just from what I see, he's the best Australian boxer in the world from what I can tell, at least in recent years. He's better than Tim Tszyu. He's better than George Kambosos. He's better than Jeff Horn. He's better than any of those guys, in my view, probably by about a level.
A tough opponent who's very skillful, and we've seen that skill and power against the boogeyman Matias, Liam Paro.
And I knew that it was only going to be a matter of time before Subriel Matias was going to get defeated by somebody. But I did predict Subriel Matias to beat Liam Paro, because I was wondering how his power would hold up throughout that fight and how he'd be willing to handle the pressure. But it turned out that if Liam Paro, that if he was able to withstand the pressure, if he was able to withstand the power, he was very clearly going to win that fight, which is pretty much what I predicted had Liam Paro been able to withstand the power. And he was. There are certain fighters, and once again, I've been telling people this for the longest time. Fighters like Isaac Pitbull Cruz, they tried to tell you that Isaac Pitbull Cruz was this huge monster, was the Mexican Mike Tyson. And don't get it twisted. Mike Tyson, to a degree, I'm not gonna call him a one-dimensional fighter, but pretty much a one game plan type of fighter. Isaac Pitbull Cruz is an extremely one-dimensional fighter. If he does not have the ability to get in on you and spam those hooks, he doesn't really know what to do. And that was proven against Jose Valenzuela, who had already been knocked out once, I believe, by Edwin de los Santos. And Jose Valenzuela, in my view, was just able to edge out that fight, and deservingly so. It is what it is. That being stated, once again, Subriel Matias, the same exact thing. This is why I've been stating for a very long time. Subriel Matias and Isaac Pitbull Cruz, if you know what you're watching, those are not fighters overall that are the creme de la creme. Those are one-dimensional fighters that are eventually waiting to get exposed. But the reason why, once again, they tried to promote Isaac Pitbull Cruz in such a great light and this great champion was because Gervonta Tank Davis had such a problem with him. And because Gervonta Tank Davis defeated him, I've already told people this. And even though Gervonta Tank Davis, he's clearly a great boxer, extremely gifted, top 10 pound for pound in my personal view, his resume does leave a little bit of things to be desired. People can bitch, moan, and complain about it all they want to, but at the end of the day, the two best wins that he has are Ryan Garcia and also Frank Martin, the recent dude that he's fought. Those are two A-grade level wins. The majority of the other wins that he has on his record are either over washed-up fighters like Yuriorkis Gamboa or fighters that don't belong in the ring with him, or these one-dimensional Latino fighters like that of a Leo Santa Cruz, or like that overall, once again, of a Isaac Pitbull Cruz or a Hector Garcia, fighters that don't belong in the ring with him. So that's why I said Gervonta Tank Davis, he's going to have to start getting in the ring with certain guys. Now, to be fair, he's recently tried, and apparently Vasily Lomachenko turned down the fight. And Shakur Stevenson, I really don't know what's going on with him as of late. But once again, people can people can try and tell you, like Dante and AKHi TV, they can sit here and try to tell you overall about how good Isaac Pitbull Cruz is and all this other bullshit. All Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a one-dimensional Mexican fighter, and if his plan A does not work, he can't beat you. And that was proven against Jose Valenzuela. Because a guy that was knocked out against Edwin de los Santos was just able to outbox that of a Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Like I keep telling people overall once again, Isaac Pitbull Cruz is not a creme de la creme fighter. He's not. He never has been.
Straight up took Matias to school and made him look like nothing. He made him look ordinary and nothing special. Therefore,
because Subriel Matias is somewhat ordinary. I mean, I'm not stating once again that he's completely ordinary because once again, Subriel Matias, he's a guy that is very powerful and he's a very entertaining fighter, but he is a completely one-dimensional fighter. Completely one-dimensional fighter.
This is a dangerous fight for Devin Haney to take at this moment in time, mainly for the reason we don't know if Devin Haney is still the same. We all know Liam Paro, he has skill, and he packs a punch. He has one-punch knockout power.
Well, no, he doesn't really have one-shot knockout power, but what he does have is good enough power, at least solid B grade level power, if not A- level power, and he's got very underrated boxing ability. Liam Paro is a Caucasian Australian fighter, so a lot of people, they're not really taking a look at him as a quote-unquote elite level boxer, or a lot of people don't know, really how good he actually is. Liam Paro is the best Australian fighter that I've seen in many, many years. This dude can box his ass off. He can box going forward. He can box going backwards. He's extraordinarily intelligent. He has an excellent lead hand. He can use that hook overall to get around the guard. Extremely swift, extremely dangerous, decently athletic. This kid is very dangerous. Devin Haney is going to have a very big problem over Liam Paro if he does not adjust properly.
Along with, he's also a southpaw. And we all know, according to the IBF rules, there's a 10-pound rehydration clause. So, Devin Haney has a tough task ahead of him if he ends up fighting Liam Paro. If this is still the same Devin Haney, obviously, it's Devin Haney all day. But that remains...
I'm not quite so sure about that. Now, of course, what that's basically their way of doing is having a built-in excuse. Once again, if Devin Haney loses, oh, he's not the same fighter anymore. And don't get it twisted, Devin Haney may not quite be the same fighter anymore. I'm not stating that that may not be a little bit of a valid excuse. But the thing is that this is what they love to do with a bunch of the Caucasian fighters or the non-black fighters, once again, that are also ranked somewhat highly or that are looked at with a great amount of potential. They love to put in excuses overall for their fighters if they end up losing. But then overall, once again, they'll rank these guys very high if they believe that their favorite black fighter is going to beat this guy. So basically, if Liam Paro ends up defeating Devin Haney, all these guys are going to say is that Devin Haney was nowhere near the same. But what I will state is this. It is going to be a little bit hard to judge where Devin Haney is going to be at mentally and also that physically because I don't necessarily know where overall this is going to happen. I don't know overall, or excuse me, I don't mean that, but I don't know where he's going to be at mentally. And I do guarantee you that after that fight that a little bit of his confidence has been a little bit shaken. So we will see once again where Devin Haney is at. But I'll have to see where Devin Haney is at exactly to judge whether I still think that he's an A-grade level fighter or not. We'll see.
To be seen. What's even more shocking, according to Boxing Scene, Eddie Hearn is targeting the fight in Australia, not in the USA. So Devin Haney has to travel to Australia for the third time, this time to fight Liam Paro. So go ahead and drop your...
And once again, I give Devin Haney a hell of a lot of credit because, he's one of the few boxers out there that has really gotten in the ring with so many fighters. And we can have criticisms of Devin Haney. We can, maybe criticize a little bit of his skill set. We can maybe criticize the fact that he's with the snack program and is more than likely on PEDs. we can criticize that all we want to. But one thing that I'll state overall about Devin Haney is this. The man has gotten in the ring with a lot of great level fighters or wanted to get in the ring with a lot of decent level fighters. The man got in the ring with Vasily Lomachenko. He got in the ring with Regis Prograis. He got in the ring with Ryan Garcia. He got in the ring with George Kambosos. He got in the ring with some of the other guys out there, And on top of that, he wants to get in the ring with that of Liam Paro, which is an excellent fight to take, or a very dangerous fight to take, especially after coming off of a loss, or at least a fight to where you suffered a lot of damage. Now, of course, not an official loss now because it was retracted and it needed to be. But at the end of the day, once again, of course, Devin Haney, he still takes that fight as a loss. Make no doubt about it. He still takes that fight as a loss. Even certain fighters overall, when they get beat, even when the fighter is on steroids, they still mentally take that as a loss. That's personally what they take it as. So I do believe that Devin Haney may be a little bit different mentally, but we'll see. Even Devin Haney at his absolute best, would I completely favor him over Liam Paro? I'm not quite sure, because to be quite honest with you, I think that Liam Paro, that there's certain things that he does that is better than what Devin Haney can do. But we'll see what happens.
Also in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of
But that pretty much is about it for today, because I don't think AKHi TV is really going to say anything else. But once again, I'm going to be posting more videos very, very soon. Thank you guys so much for the patience and all the most recent subscribers and watchers to that of my channel. I thank you guys very, very much. But anyways, this is going to be a very interesting fight, because to be quite honest with you, I'm not really quite sure who I would favor within this fight. I, of course, would have to do a little bit more of a breakdown. But to be quite honest with you, if I was possibly going to favor someone early, I may even have to go with that Liam Paro, depending on if he would be able to deal with that Devin Haney speed. But I think that he'd be able to. We'll see what happens, because to be quite honest with you, even with Devin Haney at his absolute best, there's a possibility that Liam Paro might actually be the biggest threat to that of a Devin Haney. Now, Lomachenko, of course, was a very great boxer, but overall, he's a little bit too small in my view, probably by about 1.5 to 2 weight classes, to be quite honest with you. Because Devin Haney, he rehydrates all the way up to 160, and on top of that, he could easily fit at the welterweight class. Lomachenko's really about a natural 130-pounder. Of course, I would also like to see the Teofimo Lopez fight, but we'll see where that goes. But I believe that if this fight happens, to be quite honest with you, he's potentially going to be the biggest threat in that of Devin Haney's career. This is not an easy fight by any means. And to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure that if I was going to favor one of these fighters, that it's going to be Devin Haney heading into this fight. But we'll see what happens. But anyways, that pretty much is about it for today. I just thought that was very interesting news. I would love to see this fight, and more than likely it appears that we're going to be getting it in December or sometime around then. Love this fight personally. But anyways, that pretty much is about it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later, and I'll be posting soon.